Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the 5 tips that will help you improve your dental school interview. Number 1 is research and find out what type of interview the school is doing. So there's typically 3 different types of interviews. First one is one-on-one, second one is a group interview, third one is what they call it MMI, multiple mini interviews. And I personally have never had an experience with multiple mini interviews. Most schools, I think, typically do one-on-one or the group interviews. What I had the most experience with is with group interviews. And my group interviews is usually either like 2 professors or faculty or staff and 1 student. So it's 3-on-1 interview. And those are my favorites because you get a chance to connect with at least one person and you can leave a great big impact on them. So understand what type of interview it will be and prepare for it. Tip number 2, dress professionally. This is given, right? If you're going to an interview, you want to look professional. You want to leave a lasting impression on them, even from the way you dress. You need to be clean. Make sure you cut your nails, cut your hair, do some makeup if you're a girl, or even guys these days can do makeup. Be conservative but memorable. If you have your own style, for example, if you like bow ties, go with the bow tie. If it looks good on you, do it. What I did was I like to go conservative. That's my style, so you don't have to go conservative, but I think most dental schools, especially because the faculty members are older, you want to go conservative. If you're a woman, you don't want to be dressing super short skirt or trying to go for that sexy look. I wouldn't recommend that. For me, I just went with a dark navy suit, white dress shirt, and a sky blue tie. I went to a Nordstrom's stylist and they told me it's supposed to look presidential. Like if you have a sky blue tie, it's supposed to be like emphasizing trust, confidence, and I like the look on me. So, but everybody's different. You gotta go for whatever looks good on you, but I would suggest that you go conservative, but show some personality because you don't want to be a boring dresser and not leave that impact. Sometimes you might want to go with a little flashy red tie, or you want to go with a tie that has a tooth images on it. I don't know. Whatever it is, if you can handle it, if you can handle that conversation, if it comes up, then good for you. Go for it. But go conservative and professional. Most important thing is professional. Tip number 3, make sure you leave a good first impression. First impression matters. First impression means how you walk into the room and shake hands, make eye contact, make sure you say hi to every single person in the room, and also smile. Firm handshakes. Clear, slow speech throughout the interview. You want to look confident, have good posture. If you guys want to know what confident posture is, look it up on YouTube. There's so many different videos. I'm not going to go into it, but you want to present yourself as someone that knows what they're doing. This was one of my biggest mistakes when I had my first interview at University of Colorado. I think I went in unprepared. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't do my research, so I got rejected my first time. When I went in, I was flustered, didn't know how to answer each of the interview questions. I didn't shake hands, I didn't smile, I was slouching, I did everything wrong. So that was actually a big lesson for me, and it gave me a big motivation to really improve myself on the next interviews. How I prepared for the next interview was I filmed myself with my phone in front of a camera and did the interview by myself. Printed out potential questions, which you can easily find online. There's actually a website I was able to find that has potential interviews that are most commonly asked in each of the schools. And honestly, it was pretty legit. I was able to pick up some of the questions and practice it, and it worked for me. So look up that Google website. I did this years ago, guys. I can't find it for you, but I'm sure you can find it. Find it, practice, practice the most commonly asked questions like, what is your 5-year goal? What are your strengths, weaknesses? Understand how to answer those questions. It's not hard to find out how to answer these questions. Just look it up on YouTube. YouTube is king. YouTube has all the answers. Just make sure you understand and practice it before you go. Be prepared. That's the key. You have to know how to answer these questions. And another tip I would give you is, if you on your CV or your resume you have something that stands out, you have something unique. If you have bad grades on your report card, they're going to ask you about it. They're going to ask you what happened. Why do you have a bad grade here? If you're an international student, they're going to ask. They asked me. I went to the Philippines for dental school. They asked me, why'd you go to the Philippines? Which is a legit curious reason. Like, why would you go get out of the US and go to another country for dental school and come back, do another 2 years? So I had to be prepared for that, and I didn't know on my first interview. So those are, I think, good tips, especially if you were as naive and ignorant as I was when I first did my interview. I thought I was just gonna go in there and be me, and I'll be getting. But I mean, you have to be you, but you have to be prepared to answer the difficult questions, because they're gonna be asking you the difficult questions. Tip number 4. Know your application. I think I already talked about it, but I sidetracked and talked about this already. Know your application. If there's something unique in your CV, your resume, or your personal statement, they're gonna ask you about it. Know it inside out. If there's bad grades, make sure you know how to explain it. Tell them the reason. Be honest. Don't lie. Be you. If you lie, they're gonna know. They're gonna pick that up. That's what happened to me on my first cycle. So I didn't really lie, but I try to make myself look better. Don't do that. Just be real and be honest, because that's what they like. That's what a good dental school will like. And a lot of these interviewers are old timers, and they don't want to see a liar. They don't want to see somebody that tries to make excuses. Own up to your mistakes from the past and show them that you have a growth mindset and you're ready to go. You're ready to learn, and you are not a stubborn person that's not going to take advice from professors when they get to dental school. You want to show that you are growth mindset. You are ready to do things the right way now, even if you had mistakes in the past. Here's some bonus tips for you that I haven't been able to fit into the 5 tips, but I think are important. Turn off your phone. That's the most important thing too, right? You don't want your phone going off during the interview. Just turn it off. I didn't even put it in my pocket. I just put it in my car before I went to the interview. Research the interviewers. If, for example, I went to an interview where it was a 2-day interview, and the first day they told me the name of the person that's going to be interviewing me, or the 2 professors that are going to be interviewing me. You have to be able to have common sense and look them up. Do your research. I looked them up, and I was able to find some of the research papers they were writing and working on. So I read all of them, and I chose to go in there and talk to them about it and how it relates to the things I'm interested in. For example, the person interviewing me was a prosthodontist, and he was doing research on obturators for babies and infants who have cleft lip or cleft palates. So what I did was talk to them and relate it to my experiences in the past working in a mission, seeing cleft palate babies and feeling that I want to be able to contribute and do mission trips like that in the future and help them out. And I told them that I honestly looked them up yesterday and found out that you have research papers, and I decided to read it, and I found it really helpful and insightful. And just the fact that I did my research, I think, impressed them. So those are like an example of the type of mindset you need to have. You need to do whatever you can to make yourself noticeable. Make them understand that you're serious and you have common sense and you understand that this is the school you want to go to. You got to express that in any way possible. Have questions ready. Some people ask me, what kind of questions do I ask? I don't know. What are you interested in? You can't ask. I can't tell you the question to ask because it can't be the question that everyone's going to ask. You really have to look deep inside, research the school, and understand and relate it to your life, and try to find out what you can ask. You can ask about the culture. What are you interested in? What are your interests? Are you worried about the curriculum? Are you going to ask about what type of procedures you'll be doing? Are you worried about making friends? I don't know. Just think about it. Look at your personality and make up some questions before you go, because for sure at the end of the interview they're going to ask you, do you have any questions for me? And if you just say no, you're just like everyone else. You want to do your research and you want to show that you want to go to this specific school. Okay? You don't want to be the person that it applies to every single school and you'll just get into wherever that accepts you. So that's a couple tips that I want to give you guys, and a couple homeworks that you gotta think about. Research the school, film yourself in front of the camera and practice. Think about what you're gonna be wearing and show some personality, but be conservative. Some typical questions that are going to be asked about you is going to be, tell me about yourself, strengths, weaknesses, 5-year goal. What do you like about this school? Those are a must. So practice those first. Those are the fundamental questions that are most likely going to come out. There's like a list of 100 questions that could come out. Just go through it and just learn to talk. Learn to handle difficult questions, and it's just all about practice. You gotta be able to imagine yourself in so many different scenarios and just not stumble through the questions. And even if you stumble through them, how are you going to navigate through difficult questions? That's something that you guys should think about and do homework. Practice makes perfect. So I would definitely start there. If you guys have any questions, any more questions, please leave a comment below, and I'll maybe make some more videos about those questions and address them specifically. I just wanted to make a concise video on the 5 fundamental things you should be thinking about and preparing for. I'm an international dental student, or I was an international dental student, so we went through something called the bench exam. So I'm going to create a video for you guys and talk about how to prepare for the bench exam as well. So good luck to you guys. I know it's season for those of you guys that are watching this in April. Hard work pays off. Don't be discouraged if you get rejected the first cycle. Many of you guys will. I did. I was accepted on the second cycle, and even on the second cycle, I had a lot of wait lists. So don't be discouraged. Most people get to it. You just gotta grit it through. So good luck to everybody, and please leave some questions for me. Bye.